Great. All right, we are going to reconvene our meeting this morning and shift gears somewhat radically to H67, the Household Hazardous Waste Bill, and do a little walkthrough with our legislative counsel who's joining us today by Zoom. Welcome, Michael.
Good morning. Thanks for allowing me to participate remotely.
Of course.
What would the chair like me to do? Walk through the changes?
I would like you to walk through the changes. Yes, please. So members, there's a draft under Michael's name up on our webpage of changes we asked him to make.
Should I put it on the screen or not?
I don't think so.
Okay. All right. So you should have draft 3.1 dated yesterday with a timestamp of 3:26 p.m. The first thing I want to point out is not a change, but a question. It's on page 2. It's line 5 and then line 8. And the testimony the other day, there were different numbers being circulated about how much it was costing the swimmies and how many tons were being landfilled. I don't know if you want to amend those numbers or not based on that testimony.
I'm sorry, did they say the number or they said they had it?
I think Jen Holiday said the number was the fund, the cost was somewhere in the neighborhood of 2.3. And then I think I didn't hear exactly what the tonnage was, but it was over 800.
Okay, well, we will have to follow up with her on that, but okay.
Okay.
I jotted.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Okay.
It'll take me a sec to.
We have, all right. Michael, can you circle back with Jen on that?
Sure, will do.
Thank you.
The next issue is on page 4. And this is whether or not, line 5, whether or not to include Class C pesticides as a covered household hazardous product or not.
Yeah, great. Thank you for highlighting that. Members, we took testimony as recently as yesterday from the Agency of Agriculture that they are a willing partner talking to the solid waste management districts. And it would be my suggestion that we remove the pesticides entirely. And if that issue cannot be resolved, then that could come up in the Senate. All right. I think we have an agreement that we do not want to include pesticides right now in this bill.
Okay. So you would delete subdivision of little 3I on line 5, and also at the bottom of page 4, line 19, that would be removed as well.
Yes.
And then subsequently, there's an entire section at the end of the bill that will be removed.
Yeah. Okay.
Should I move on?
Yes.
On page 4, line 7, I went through to make sure that the term covered household hazardous product was consistently used. There are 2 instances where it had said covered product instead of covered household hazardous product. Line 7 is one of those instances. So it had previously said covered product, but the term used and defined in the section is covered household hazardous product. So that's really just a technical change.
Great. Thank you.
You have a similar change. The next change is a similar change. It's on page 6, line 18. Again, replacing covered product with covered household hazardous product.
Okay.
Next change is on page 13. This is the performance goal amendment or changes. Lines 17 through 21. Remember that the language had the secretary shall approve the performance goals for the plan at least every 5 years, and then there would be a requirement that the performance goal would increase. I think that's still, I did not remove that on page 13, line 14 and 15. You wanted the 1 year. Did you want the 1 year automatic increase removed?
No, I think we wanted it for the first 5 years.
Okay. All right. And then after that, the secretary shall use the results of the most recent waste composition study, which is required under 10 VSA 6604, and other relevant factors to establish the performance goals of the collection plan.
Yeah, that's great. That's what we wanted.
Okay. Should I move on?
Yes.
Then you go to page 20. And this was, I can't remember, one of the committee members pointed out that I should use the singular article, page 20, line 6, when referring to the collection plan. Instead of it saying a collection plan, it should say the collection plan, because you're requiring one collection plan from the manufacturers.
Yes, thank you.
And then page 25, this is section 8. This is that section that would have required Class C pesticides when registered with the Agency of Agriculture to demonstrate participation in a stewardship organization. You would remove that entire section.
The section in gray.
Yes, section 8.
Yes.
Okay. And then last is just renumbering the effective date section, section 8 on page 26, line 13.
Thank you. Representative Sibilia has a question.
Thanks, Michael. So a concern has been raised, which I just want to make sure we're not already dealing with in the bill. How would any kind of disagreement or, how would any kind of disagreement between industry and the swimmies, re the cost of the program for the swimmies, be addressed? Is that already in the bill? A means for addressing that?
So there's a couple of ways that's addressed. First, when the plan is submitted, it's supposed to have a summary of the funding, page 14, line 10, how it's going to be funded.
Yep.
And it's supposed to have a provision about how it's going to work with existing collection infrastructure. So that's the first, and A&R reviews that. So, and if there's an issue at that point, when the stewardship organization submits its collection plan, the A&R will have, remember, they have administration authority and oversight authority over the plan, and they have the ability to require amendments. So they could at that point require some sort of amendment to resolve that issue. In addition, the way that the swimmies are going to be part of the program is most likely through a contract with them. And so contracts require two willing parties. If you don't have a willing party and the swimmie is just not going to consent to be in a collection site, well, frankly, the stewardship organization has other alternatives. Again, that's got to be part of the plan. A&R has to approve that plan. So there's kind of a dynamic that will be involved in the approval of the plan and the establishment of the infrastructure for the collection system. Or I shouldn't say establishment, it's sort of the identification of what infrastructure will be used for the collection system. And then, remember there's an audit that's required. There's a report and an audit. So the report has to address the cost of the plan, and that will include what they're paying to the swimmies. That's page 17, line 3 through 5, the cost of implementing the collection plan, including administration, collection, transportation, recycling, disposal, and education, which will include the cost that they're paying the swimmies. And then the plan audit, which includes cost as well. So I think there's definitely oversight that the agency has in approving the collection plan. There's contract authority that the two parties have to reach a willing agreement. There's options that the stewardship organization will have if swimmies just don't want to participate. And then there's a check back on the cost in the report and an audit by an independent third-party auditor every 5 years.
I guess, thank you. That's helpful. I guess I have a new question now in my head, which is it possible that all of the swimmies would say, yeah, we're not interested in household hazardous waste anymore?
I think anything is possible. I think practically that won't happen because people are going to keep bringing stuff to the transfer station and the dump and expect that they should be able to dispose of it or recycle it there. So I think the swimmies are going to want to have some collection opportunity at their current infrastructure because practically they're going to be getting the material. People are going to be bringing the material, and the people don't have a place to put it. They're not going to be happy.
Okay, one more question back to my first question, which is there, I don't think there's an obligation. Do you think that there is a reasonable expectation that the swimmies will be able to provide some sort of accounting that demonstrates the costs that they are asking to be covered are related to just to this the manufacturer's products?
Well, there's nothing really specifically that requires that in the bill, but that's having done a lot of contract work in the past, that would be something that I would include in a contract.
Okay.
That they, first of all, I'd want a funding formula in the contract. Like how are the swimmies going to be paid? I would probably pay them based on a formula, based on the tonnage collected that incorporates some sort of labor cost as in the formula. And then I'd want them to have to report on that and demonstrate what they've collected and the labor related to that. That's what I would do, or something similar. And I would expect that the stewardship organization will do something similar as well.
All right, members. Further questions? So Michael, I think I asked if you would circle back on the updated numbers for costs and tonnage, and then we've accepted all the proposed changes that you've made, and the members, we have a vote scheduled for tomorrow morning at 8:45.
Make sure we have
on this. And our Ways and Means Committee is ready to take it up, and that's part of the urgency.
So Chair, if I get those updated numbers from Jen Holiday, should I just send them to you for approval to include in the draft?
That would be great. Thank you. Yes. All right, I'm not seeing any further questions for Michael at this time. So with that, we will adjourn for the morning, and we're back on for this afternoon at 1:15. Thanks, Michael.